Welcome to this fourth and hopefully final video tutorial looking at Roberta the robot. And at the end of the last video, I asked you to try and make it so that not only do we have it so that all the shapes on the robot's chest respond appropriately to our question, can you click on the green square? But additionally, the mouth moves as well. So I should have that working right now. And if I run this, we'll see what happens. Hopefully the sound is working. Yes, good.
Roberta, can you click on the green square?
Okay, so I get it wrong. Let's go for the blue star.
This is the blue star. Try again. This is the yellow circle. Try again. This is the red triangle. Try it. This is the red triangle. Try it. This is the red.
Now notice.
Try again.
Now the try again there, the mouth doesn't move enough.
This is the yellow circle. Try again. This is the red triangle. Try again.
Yeah, okay, because triangle, circle, star, triangle, it takes longer to speak. So technically what I need to do there is just stop that, is perhaps make this play 5 times. And also just fiddling around here, the whole Roberta thing, say hello, Roberta. If I put a double A in there, even though it looks daft when I write it, maybe it will sound better. Let me just see. I'm just fiddling here.
Hello, my name is Roberta. Can you click on
Roberta. Okay, that's interesting. So it's made it like it's like a proper O there, O instead of Roberta, Roberta. Anyway, here we go. Let's try it now.
This is the red triangle. Try again. This is the
yes.
red triangle. Try again.
And now the green square.
You found the green square. Can you click on the green square?
And of course, it automatically runs the same question again. Now what I want to do in this video tutorial is, having asked you to fix or make sure that your flowchart is the same as mine. So if it's not like this, make sure you get yours working. We are now going to look at how we can randomly ask questions. Now this really is kind of a little bit beyond the scope of the course that I'm running here, but it's an extension activity. So if you got this far, here we go. This is the ultimate Roberta the Robot Challenge. I'm going to pick all this up and I'm going to move it to the right. And I say, yes, there we go. And I'm going to do something a wee bit different here. I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to introduce variables. So this is the XY thing up here, variables. And I need to see what's happening over here. I am going to go to properties and I'm going to delete the Y variable, and I am going to click, I'm going to keep the X, and I'm going to click on the little cursor here, and I'm going to call this shape. It's a variable called shape. And what I'm going to do is, having said hello to us all, we're then going to define the value of the variable shape. Now shape can be any numeric value we want. As it turns out in this software, it's generally an integer, a whole number. Doesn't have to always be the case though. But what I'm going to do is use the random function down here. So I'm going to let shape equals random. Now what that will do is it will generate a number between 0 and 255. Let me just bring the calculator up here. Why 255? Well, 255 because in an 8-bit system we get values between 0 and 255, or between 1 and 256. But binary always includes 0. So 0 to 255. Now if I take 256, which is the total range, and divide it by 2, I get 128. And if I take 256 and divide it by 4, I get 4. Sorry, I get 64. So in other words, what I'm trying to say here is that if I have a decision box in here, and if I say, is shape less than a number which is 64, so it's between 0 and 63, then that means it's like rolling a 1 on a 4-sided dice. However, if I check to see if shape is less than 1, if it's not less than 64, is it less than a number 128? which is like rolling a 2 on a 4-sided dice. And if it's not less than that, then is shape less than the next value. Now, 128 plus 64 is 192. So if its shape is less than 192, then it's going to be like rolling a 3 on a 4-sided dice. And if it's not that, then it's going to be a 4 on a 4-sided dice. So by saying let shape equals random, it's like rolling a 4-sided dice. It's either 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's just that random basically is a number between 0 and 255. Okay, so let's see how this is going to work. If we roll less than 65 to 255, then we are going to run a sub-procedure. We are going to run green square. Okay, so if yes, run green square, else check again. If I then need to have let's create some more sub-procedures in here. Let's have a sub, in fact, hang on a second, I'm going to move things around again a bit here. Let's select all this. And I'm going to move this. Hang on a second. Okay, so let's move this down here. Oh, it's not going to move down there. Yes, it is. It's right down there. This is getting mighty crazy now, isn't it? Bear in mind that if you're getting short on space, I can go to Settings, Options, and I can, no, it's not there. I can go to File, Page Setup, that's it, and I can make it so I'm going to be 3 pages in height, or 3 pages in width. Let's try that. No, we'll go in height. And that now means I've got an awful lot more height to work with here. Okay, so I'm going to have another sub-procedure. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to select all of that, and I'm going to copy and paste it over here. And I think I've accidentally picked up that stop command, which I don't want. Okay, let's bring it up a bit there so it matches. And this is going to say, not green square 2, but red triangle. And what's this going to do? It's going to say instead, can you click on the, now that was lowercase, wasn't it? I'm going to have mine as red triangle. Okay, and because it's triangle instead of square, I'm going to make that moving 8 times. Now, let's just think this one through. The square before was correct. Now I want the triangle to be correct. So I'm going to get rid of that. If we do the square, it's going to say this is the green square. Try again. And this is going to be well done. You found the red triangle. Okay, fantastic. What do I want to do here? I'm going to delete this because that's now wrong, and I'm going to delete this, and instead I'm going to make it so that if they choose the green square, it's going to ask again. Whereas if they get the red triangle, it's correct. And I'm going to stop that procedure. So there we are. I've got my red triangle and my green square. Now, just for simplicity, you notice how I've got this divided into 1 quarter, 2nd quarter, 3rd quarter, and then whatever's left is a 4th quarter. I'm going to change this just for this demonstration. I'm going to clear that and make it 128 because I'm only going to have 2 possibilities. In fact, no, I'll leave it at 64. Sorry about that. I'll leave that at 64, 128, 192, and then whatever else. So this is therefore going to run red triangle. So if yes, do this. If no, do this. And then this, regardless of what happens, is simply going to run or re-roll it. So if it's 128 or greater, we'll simply re-roll the dice. Now, of course, in reality, here what we want to do is we want this, use a text box here. This should be sub yellow circle, and down here we should have sub blue star. So just to confirm here, I would need to take this flowchart here, duplicate it again for the yellow circle, again for the blue star, and change it so that here the yellow circle would stop, would say well done and stop, and the last one for the blue star, this would say well done and stop. But just for speed, I'm not going to do it in this demonstration. You can do that yourself. And would have this running the yellow circle procedure, here the blue star procedure. So it would always, no matter what random number selected, it was always run one of those 4 sub-procedures. However, in this example, just to simplify things, I'm only going to have these 2 possibilities. Now that should be completely functioning. So fingers crossed when I run this, I've got a Roberta the robot working, but only 2 of these shapes are being tested for. Let me just do one more thing. I'm still not happy with Roberta there. Let's try a double dot at the end, see if that makes a difference. Here we go, let's run. Oh, Houston, we have a problem. Oops, because I've paused it. Look there. Here we go.
Hello, my name is Roberta. Can you click on the green square?
Okay.
This is the red triangle. Try again. Well done. You found the green square.
Okay, so here we go. Up. Oh, look what's happened here. Look, there's no link off here. So what do I need to do? I want that to go back to a random number. And again, here, this goes back to making the random number. Let's try that.
Hello, my name is Roberta. Can you click on the green square? Well done. You found the green square.
Okay, here we go.
Click on the green square.
Now it's green square again.
Well done. You found the green square. Can you click on the red?
Aha, there you go. So the random number generation managed to pick out the red triangle. Now, of course, at the moment it's not very exciting because it only ever asks for those 2 particular sub-procedures. But, of course, by making the additional 3rd and 4th sub-procedures for the yellow circle and blue star, and then linking those in with these decision boxes, that would then allow Roberta the robot to interact with all 4 shapes. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my fully functioning Roberta the robot educational tool for preschool children. Finished. Yippee! That's what I've just called it, by the way. So, if you've managed to get that far, and if you manage to duplicate these 2 sub-procedures and modify them appropriately, then you will have completely finished this challenge. And I take my hat off to you. Great job. That's it. That's the end of this set of video tutorials, and now you should be pretty cool at using Flowol 4, and you'll be able to move on and do some of my more advanced programs using physical models. So I hope you've had success. I hope you had fun with that, and I shall see you in the next video tutorial.